A former #1 overall recruit in Pennsylvania coming home to Pennsylvania. Warwick's own Nolan Rucci tweeted out over the weekend, or formerly known as Twitter on X, that he is coming home to Penn State. He's committed. He's transferring from Wisconsin to Penn State. This is a big get for the Nittany Lions, for their offensive line, for recruiting, for everybody here in Lancaster County that, would love to see Nolan at Penn State, possibly literally go to Beaver Stadium and see him play. So, Tim, you're our Penn State guy. How did you feel when you found out Nolan Rucci, former 5-star offensive lineman, is coming to the Nittany Lions?
Well, I found out so from friends in State College over the weekend. They said, hey, former 5-star from your area is entering the transfer portal. And I immediately thought, oh my gosh, it can't be Nolan Rucci, can it? And it was. And then Eric and Chad, we all started, talking. Chad, you were on this story from the beginning. He's coming to Warwick, he's coming to Penn State. And I don't think you knew that for sure. You didn't talk to anybody, but you just had a gut feeling. I am excited. Penn State's moving 2 tackles this year. Both of them are going to be going high in the NFL draft. At least one will probably be a top 10 pick. And so Rucci is going to be able to slide right in there. Interesting thing that I didn't realize is he's only got 2 more years left. And I can't believe he's been there 3 years already. Time certainly, flies by. But this is a big get for James Franklin. I think now they have all the #1 players out of Pennsylvania for the past 4 or 5 years have now all come home and are either playing now or did for James Franklin. So the one thing James Franklin said that when he became the head coach of Penn State back in 2014, he said, guys, we have to recruit in our own backyard. We have to get these commits. Obviously, he lost out on, Rucci years ago, but he is back. And
as just a fan, it feels really good to have the Ruccis back at Penn State. And I had always wanted them to be there. And I know it was easier to go be with Hayden out at Wisconsin, and they just churn out offensive linemen at Wisconsin. So I never was against it, but I always wanted him at Penn State, and I'm super happy that is happening. Now, Eric, what are your thoughts that the Warwick Grad is coming a little closer to home?
Well, and I texted it out to you guys. It was a big swing and a miss on my part because I'm thinking he's not going to Penn State, because I remember and he was a junior. I'm walking out of the stadium after a game one night, and I'm walking out with his dad and asking him about all the different schools and what he wants to study, this, that, and everything else. And Penn State was in the mix, but Penn State really didn't show, like Tim said, it seemed like they had a lot of interest. And Todd Rucci's like, well, then that's fine. He doesn't have to go to Penn State just because I went there. He's got to go where he wants to go. And now when this came back out that he was going into the portal, people are talking, oh, he's going to come to Penn State. I'm thinking, he's not going to come back to Penn State. And there were some other schools that were high on his list. I know Notre Dame was one, Michigan was one, but it just goes all back to what Tim was just said in the beginning, is that how the portal and NIL has just completely changed the landscape of college football. And I'm not saying that, obviously an NIL deal was part of Nolan's decision, but, the fact that maybe he can go and he can get into a starting position at Penn State. Yes, he is closer to home. There's a lot of different factors. And I didn't send out a text to Todd because I'm sure he was just getting inundated with messages. But at some point, I hope to catch up with him and get his thoughts and his feedback on it. But you know what? If this what makes Nolan happy, then that's really what it all boils down to. Now the next thing is October 26th, Wisconsin and Penn State. Interesting matchup.
Yeah. It already seems like the Ruccis are looking forward to that in a friendly way, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I do hope Nolan is starting on the line and can be a big contributor for Penn State at that point. As you pointed out, Tim, they have 2 openings on the tackle positions. I'm hoping he ends up there. Again, this is not professional. This is personal in that regard.